Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another Miguel's Moment podcast. I am joined today with Noe Aguilar. He's a good friend I met back in high school and we catch up a little bit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. He has some stories to tell. I'm just waiting on Noe to join the podcast. Hey, what's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very little.
How about now?
Hold on, let me see if I can get my.
Check. 1, 2, 3.
It's getting better, but all right, I can hear you more.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear the AC going?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
It's better? Okay.
That was pretty low.
Was your audio not up or?
No, I think I have. Yeah, I have my Bluetooth on.
Ah, you got some headphones in or something?
Well, I was watching a movie earlier, so.
Cool. So what are you up to, man? What are you doing?
What am I up to? Absolutely nothing. Losing my damn mind.
Yeah, no work today?
No, since things been with this COVID thing, I work 5 days.
You work when?
I only work 5 days because of COVID.
Well, it still work. I mean, there's a lot of people out there not working right now.
Yeah, that's true, but I prefer to be working most of the days because where I live right now is like a 20-foot trailer and it just gets boiling hot.
Oh, yeah? That's probably why you said the AC's pretty low. I mean, I can hear it in the background. Hopefully, when I play it back, it won't be too bad. But for now, I hear you just fine.
Yes, I moved away from the AC, so I don't know if that's going to help.
So, where are you living at now again?
Washington, up by Kennewick. Like I'm 4 hours from the Canada border.
Oh, wow. Have you gone to Canada yet or not?
I've been to Canada when I went to New York.
Oh, okay.
So I've been into Canada and I had their little poutine. So that's about everything I know about Canada.
What's poutine or poutine? What's that?
Poutine is French fries, thick cut, gravy, cheese curds, and pulled pork.
That sounds like an American thing, but I'm not 100% sure. That sounds like something like us Americans would eat.
Yeah, that's it's good. I liked it, but the thing is, you can only eat one before you start having a little mini stroke about how greasy it is.
No.
If I start complaining about how greasy it is, you know it's bad.
Yeah. So you just went over there for the food? Like, did you go check out something?
Oh, I went to Bethel.
To where?
I went to Bethel.
Bethel. Well, is that the?
Yeah, Society.
Uh-huh.
I went there. It was pretty fun. Checked out New York. The first day I was in New York, it took us from JFK to Brooklyn. It took us like 7 hours
To drive?
because I had to go. It took me initially 2 hours to get there, but one of my sisters, I don't know if you remember her, is D.
Mm-hmm.
She was procrastinating into getting her tickets, so she was like 2 hours delayed
Mm-hmm.
in her plane ticket. So I had to go to the hotel, check in, immediately start driving back to JFK because the moment I'll be arriving in JFK is when they were landing from California. So the first day I was on the road for like 6-7 hours, and then on the way back from JFK I got sideswiped.
Oh man.
So luckily I had full insurance, full everything, but I pulled over. I waved to the guy to come over. Like, "Oh, get the insurance." He's like, no, bye. And I was like, what? Is it that bad? And apparently, it's like if people get in fender benders and you can still run the car, it's just aesthetics. They'll just leave the scene. I called the cop, like he was like maybe a block over. I called him. I was like, hey, I need you to run a report for my rental. He's like, oh, well, that sucks. Welcome to New York. And he just walked away.
Seriously?
Yep, I couldn't even get a report for my rental agreement. So I'm like, is it plastered on my face that I'm from California, or is it just New York?
And well, so the cop didn't see your ID or anything saying that you're from
Nothing.
California?
He
No?
just looked at the van, looked at the damage. It was just superficial. The guy that hit me got more of the damage.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't stick around. He's like, well, welcome to New York. That's pretty much a daily around here. He just walked away.
Wow, that's insane. And over here in California, the cops pull over if you're on the side of the road, like because there might be something wrong with the car or something, and they pull over and try to help you out.
It's not even. He didn't even bother to check anything. He's like, yeah. He just walked away, and I was like, that started my trip like in a way. Like I'm already an asshole as it is, or let's get uh, complex, a cantankerous man.
Yeah.
So I started bad, and then we started doing trips, and we're only supposed to be like 15 people, and it ended up being 40 with like 3 or 4 newborns. I'm like, who brings a newborn to New York?
Well, it's funny though because I can't remember who I was talking to the other day about it. It's like in New York in the movies and stuff like that, you see just only adults. You never really see kids around. Never kids in the streets. No kids in the apartment. Like I mean, apartments yes, but like you don't really see babies in the streets of New York. So it's surprising that you saw a kid over there too.
Well, it was part of our group that went to the society,
Hmm.
and I was like, and then we had an itinerary that was thrown out the window. People were like, we would go to we went to go see the bull, the stock exchange bull that's down in New York, and I turned around and everyone in my group just disappeared.
Like
And
they went to go do their own thing or what?
to go do their own thing. Some jumped on the ferry to go see the Statue of Liberty. Some others went, and like our schedule was like in New York. It was packed like almost within an hour's worth. You didn't have an hour of free time, so I was put in charge to wrangle people. The the friend that invited me was also wrangling people,
Yeah.
and some other brother was wrangling people. And I was like, the second day I would just stop caring. I'm like, I would text the brother like, we're gone, find your way, bye. No, wait for me. Like, you shouldn't have left the group. Peace out. And they come back all mad, and I'm like, dude, they told you almost 6 months ago, stick to the plan. And then first thing that happens is everyone goes and does their own thing. I'm like, I ain't your daddy, I ain't your mother. Figure it out.
Oh, that's too funny, man. How big was the group? Like you said, so there's two other people helping you wrangle them up on the first day.
It
And
was like 35 people,
35?
and out of those, I think a good 12 were kids under 7.
That just sounds like a tough time, man. Like I wouldn't be able to do that. Like if I was, I would never be able to stay in charge of that.
It was just a big waste of time because I just couldn't even enjoy it because like they would say relax, chill out. I'm like, dude, you guys don't understand. And I was like, dude, we're like, when you get stressed out to the point like you forget that you're supposed to be nice. I'm like, you guys are assholes. You're all selfish little f's. Like, oh, we have a plan, we have a thing. We're supposed to be here because all of you wanted and accepted to follow the rules,
Hmm.
and you guys are leaving. So I'm not gonna be nice anymore.
Yeah. So
And then
that's just an overall New York terrible experience, except for the
no,
was it the
then
pudding?
what?
Except for the pudding or the
The poutine?
poutine.
No, that was in Canada.
You know.
So when we were in New York for 3 days,
Hmm.
and those were the most stressful days of my ever. And then it was like we all got rental cars, so it was like 6 or 7 rental cars, and it was me and the guy that invited me that made the whole trip. We were doing around 80 to 90,
Hmm.
just trying to get to Canada because our hotel. We had to get to a certain time frame to check in, or else they're going to charge us an extra day.
Yeah.
So we took off. The people with us, they stopped, sightsee, this, that, the other, and we told them if we don't get there by midnight, they're gonna charge us an extra day. So they didn't believe us. They started showing up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and automatically they got charged the extra day. And we were only there in Canada for 2 days, so they paid 3 days.
Mm.
So it was just stressful. That whole trip was just I'm never gonna travel with 30 people ever again, even if it's my family.
I mean,
So that
I mean, 30 something people. It's just that's too much, man. I mean, that's a field. I mean, do you remember going to field trips in high school? Like
yeah,
how stressed were the teachers back then? Like I'm sure they were feeling the same way because every kid wants to do something, you know.
well, yeah, but the thing is, with the kids, you're more responsible. With adults, I could just tell them, like, look, you started getting your kid drawn, like those stenciled in paintings.
That takes time.
And I went up to the brother, like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm getting my granddaughter a stenciled painting with all the pencil, and the artist had the outline. It was really nice. I'm like, that's not gonna take 20 minutes. Oh, he's almost done. And I talked to the artist. I'm like, how long does it usually take you to finish a picture? Well, about 2 hours. I'm like, well, I told the brother like, well, I'll see you because we're leaving now. Oh wait, nope, gone. And I just started walking away.
So who put you in? I mean, just out of curiosity, who put you in charge? Like, did somebody go here? You have to wrangle them up, or like, did you volunteer and didn't think that it was going to be like that? Because,
Well, the thing is, my natural inclination is to be, what's it called? What would it be? My natural inclination is to be an asshole. So they wanted me to wrangle them in.
oh, so they thought you had the like chops to like be mean to them. It's like, nope, you're not getting that stencil. Nope, you're not getting that. You're not.
Well, I told them like, look, yeah. I told them you're gone, bye. And after the second day, they started paying attention. Like when I said something, they were starting to follow me because like I'm leaving you. I don't care how many trains it takes you to get there.
Yeah.
One family said it took them close to 3 hours to travel four or five blocks because they kept getting on the wrong train. And I was like, "Oh, you should have followed us.
Yeah.
I tell you, we're gone. I'm not holding your hands." But I've always been known to be more of a serious person. That's why they chose me. But that trip was ruined. It was like 4 or 5 grand down the drain, man. It was just, and then to top it all off, my sister, she got some car. She got the van. She got with me with a van and my other sister. So I go and charge her at the end of the trip. I'm like, look, because you got the baby seats, because you refused to buy some to bring on the trip. Baby seats are $13 a day. And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Like I told you a year ago, they're $13 a day. So your side of the rental is $800, and me and my sister were $172. It's like, well, why are you charging my other sister $172? Because she doesn't have babies, stupid. And the baby seats are $13 a day, and we were there for 2.5 weeks, and
Yeah.
she didn't have money. Like she had $20 and no money for a cab fare. So I got shafted with that, and I had to give her money for the cab to get to JFK
No, that's
because her
insane,
flight
man.
was earlier than us.
Well, if you so you guys flew out there from California, right?
Yeah, LAX.
LAX, and then you said your sister was 2 hours behind. You had to go back and pick her up from the whole. You go to the
And her
hotel.
flight was 2 hours earlier than us. So
Yeah. So another 7 hours prior, or you guys just got there really really early for your own flight too.
I don't know how the timing worked, but we landed in LAX midnight
Uh huh.
because you're gaining 2.5 hours when you go to New York, and you're losing 2.5 hours coming back. So you kind of leave and come at the same hours.
Isn't that weird though? Like, if you get on a plane and you're going with like the sun, you know, it's 6 o'clock over there, and then you're flying, west, and you land at LAX. It's still 6 o'clock. Isn't that weird? Like you're following the sun, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, but I liked it because I got to see the sunset and sunrise at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I come back and I was like, I'm on my sister and my brother-in-law to get that money. It was like almost $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So unbeknownst to me, that this fool was starting to get into some drug habits. So he was spending almost all his checks the moment he was getting it.
Yeah. Wait. So you paid for everybody or for a few people, and then they said they're gonna pay you back, and then they didn't.
Well, the plan was me and my sister. That was it.
Yeah.
We weren't going to go with anyone else. It was just going to be the van. The rental van was going to be me and my sister, the one that's a year older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And then my sister that had the kids at the last minute wanted to go. I don't know how they managed to find tickets even cheaper than ours, but they still did everything wrong possible. They got the baby car seats for so much money, and instead of buying them, they within a week and a half, like the first week, they're out of money. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know this. And then I started noticing that they wouldn't buy any food. They wouldn't buy any food. They wouldn't buy any food because when we stopped to eat, I'm like, "Oh, dude, why are you guys not eating?" I know for a fact that my brother-in-law eats like a freaking savage. And he wasn't eating anything. He's like, no, I'm not hungry. Like, why are you not eating? I know for a fact that you eat. Oh, we don't have any more money. I go, you guys are dumbasses. You come to New York knowing it's expensive. A plate of food is like $15.
No, no, you gotta bring your savings over there. I remember when I went to Oklahoma City for this group thing. I went with Jose Castro and his family
Oh
for
yeah,
back in the day, and I
illegals.
yeah. But the thing was, like, I was like still living paycheck to paycheck, so I'm surprised. It's weird, like. There's so many times where, like, I think about the past, like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that when I had this little money, and I'm like, how did I get back, not starving or something, and they also offered to pay for my stuff too, like for food at least, but I was just like, sweet Jesus, like, there's a lot of like moments like this where I think back and I'm just like, how did we survive, paycheck to paycheck? Because when you live in California, and I'm assuming you remember how expensive it was now that you're in Washington, but like
Well, it's California.
everything's expensive. Going downtown
Yeah.
Paso, it's like you're spending $20 just for yourself.
Well, it's like all my life in California, I was always in debt because I was forced to bail family members out because of my mom. My mom had this. I want to save the little broken shits because the ones that are doing better should bail the ones that are doing bad. So I was always accruing debt from my family because of the Mexican guilt that what are they going to say because two of your brothers are all almost close to being in the streets. Oh my God. And I would get, sorry for the language, but I would get into fights with my mom. Like, fuck them. They chose their life. They chose their partner. They're not making good money choices. Fuck them. But since they couldn't leave their kids alone, I got dragged along because I had that Mexican mentality of
You got
being submissive.
yeah, you got to help out kind of thing. Like that's
And
like
I
help out.
finally started getting, yep, exactly, help out because what are they gonna think mentality.
Yeah,
And
I think that's a big problem with a lot of families. Like, even now, it's like they kind of sort of expect you to help once you have a leg up, and you're looked at as like not a real
cash,
not a real family member if you don't help out. But at the end of the day, it's what I was saying earlier. It's like they'll survive one way or another, whether they get your help or not. So,
yeah, that's
at
the
some
thing
point,
with my,
you just cut them off and then be like, all right, this I'm going to help you. There's a job over here. There's a job over here.
yeah,
Those are your options.
the thing that really started bugging me was my mom got sick of cancer and ultimately passed away. But
Hmm.
she took my meth head brother's kids, and she wanted me to take custody of them, and I was like, fuck that, it's not my responsibility. And she would cry, she would try to finagle my way into taking custody of those kids. I'm like, I'm not gonna get tied down to kids that are not mine.
Hmm.
They're my nephews, I understand them, I love them, but they're not mine. I'm not gonna get tied down to these little shits. And then I was like, oh, I told my mom, I was like, nope, there's time to let the courts take them. That's the one way I see that my brother's gonna get sober and work harder to get his kids. My mom takes the kids, gets custody. What does my brother do? He just chills. Doesn't want to do anything because mom has him.
Yeah, but that's not something you should beat yourself up for. Like that's other people's decisions, man. You got
Yeah, the thing is the mentality of you need to help your brother. He
yeah.
wanted, because my mom was starting to realize she was losing the battle and she wanted me to
Mm-hmm.
become the legal guardian.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm not going to be a legal guardian. And
What
I was
what
like,
what what did you say? Other than you obviously don't want to be responsible. Did you say you don't feel like you're responsible enough, or it's just period like you don't want to take care of someone
I
else's
told
kid?
her I didn't fuck the girl. I didn't make the babies. Not
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to post this podcast now, but it's funny.
No, you can post it. Just bleep out the F words. I'll try to keep them down.
I'm still learning how to bleep things out because
Yeah,
I put explicit and not for kids.
just post it like that, explicit, not for kids, because this story is gonna get wilder as it goes. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting already. I mean, you go to New York and you're having a tough time from to begin with, and the cop doesn't give you the day,
Time of day.
the time of day,
and then your family doesn't care. Like you were put in charge, and they don't want to listen to you until second, third day, and then your family keeps you in debt. They want you to take on more responsibility. You moved away to Washington probably to not have to deal with all this stuff anymore. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I came back to New York. I didn't have a job
Mm-hmm.
because I had supposedly a job lined up with one of my cousins and from Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, it's gonna be like $20 an hour. It's gonna be construction. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that." On the flight, prior to getting on the flight, my cousin's like, "You need to. At the moment you land, you need to get here in Hayward because the other company is tired of waiting for you." I'm like, "Dude, I told you I'll be gone for 2 weeks in New York, and they said it was okay." But yeah, but they're getting tired. They need someone. I'm like, okay. You need to get here before 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it was a Sunday. I was driving back. I was flying back. I'm like, oh, okay. This is how it works. I'm gonna take a flight. It's gonna be a 6.5 hour flight. I'm gonna land at midnight in LAX. I need to drive to Paso Robles, 3.5 hours. What time frame is that? 3. I get my stuff because I'm moving technically. Everything 5 o'clock. I start driving from Paso to Hayward. I'll be there at 10 o'clock. How's that gonna work? Well, you need to make it here before 7. Oh, they go, man, I just quit a job because of, oh my gosh. And I was like, you know what, dude? F you. I'm done with you. And then I was like, oh, I'm done with you. And I was like, oh yeah, but I got you this job. I'm like, dude, it doesn't sound like you got me the job. It's just you got me a recommendation, and they're getting tired of it. And then the deeper I dug is like, this dude didn't have a place to live. He was already getting kicked out from an uncle of mine because they were tired of his shenanigans. He would get drunk. I didn't know this. Doesn't pay taxes. I didn't know this. Can't have anything under his name because he doesn't have an IT number or he doesn't have a social. So he wanted me to move out there to literally get an apartment for him, lease an apartment, yada yada. So I was like, you know what, dude? Okay, I'm done. So he starts having a conniption fit, and I was like, dude, I lost a really good job that I was a manager in for you giving me lies. I think this is deserved. And then that's when he dropped off, and I think he lost his job for close to 2 years because that job couldn't keep paying him cash anymore
Yeah.
because he refused to do any kind of IT number, so he got let go because of that too. So I was like, I was thinking, okay, if I would have moved out there, I would have been homeless within the month because I would have had to drop massive amounts of money for the lease,
Mm-hmm.
Hayward, all that stuff. I'm like, all right, it was just a life telling me it's not a good idea. So I was like, all right, cool. I go get a job back at Applied Technologies, or maybe I shouldn't even say the name. Back to my old job.
I mean, you've been name dropping since the beginning, so I'm not sure.
Whatever. So let's just name drop it because it's a true story. Nothing made up. It's gonna sound insane the further down I get the rabbit hole, but it's a true story.
I'm at the point at the beginning of this is like full disclosure. I did not know this is going to happen.
Also, prior to Applied Technologies,
Yeah.
I'm starting to talk to this one guy that's
Mm-hmm.
in our truth, and he's telling me he's makes a certain amount of money, and he wants a helper. He can pay me. He can pay me and make me a co-owner. So I was like, all right, I might want to do that because I'm tired of just getting a daily job, just being someone's lackey. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go. So I move out after my mom passes. Like I think a week after my mom passes, I move out. I go to Slow. The first month is okay. The dude's kind of chill. I'm going to meetings. I'm all jacked up, so I go to meetings in English. I used to go to Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And then a month into it, he starts thinking about getting a wolf. He starts complaining about this homeless lady has a wolf, and this wolf and this wolf. And I'm like, dude, just relax. If that wolf is supposed to be yours, it's gonna be yours. And keep in mind, obviously your listeners or you don't know this is he used to have 12 to 13 wolves, so he knows what he's doing. I don't. So I'm like, whatever. That wolf will probably never be in the picture. I think second month, halfway through second month, I'm already eating hot Cheetos and cup of noodles because he's not paying me, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to he wants to pay me from the checks that are coming in, not the money that he has. So I'm already about 1,000 and some in debt. So I'm already starting to see this as a bad choice. He brings in the wolf. The wolf gets quarantined because he bit someone. So I don't know if you remember in Paso Robles, this lady from the wolf sanctuary
Uh-huh.
got her leg bitten off, right?
No, I never heard about that. No.
Okay, so if you want to go and check it online, it's this lady from Paso Robles Wolf Sanctuary. Her leg got completely bitten off from the shin down. So I had this in my mind, and this dude gets a wolf. I'm like, oh man. So I started getting stressed. And then the sheriff deputy comes and says, okay, this wolf needs to be in house quarantine for 10 days. It cannot leave the house. So I'm the new guy. I'm barely learning how the job is. So he's like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to take care of this wolf. I'm like, oh, I don't think you realize I don't have any training for this wolf. And he's like, well, you're gonna have to sit with him and just make him relax. I'm like, I don't think you realize how stressed I am. This wolf is like stressing me out because of the story. So first night comes around, we start working around 2 in the morning. So it should be technically in the morning. So I sit down with a wolf with a leash in the backyard where he lives. The wolf hears a truck turn on. I've never seen an animal destroy a fence faster than that stupid wolf. He obliterated a fence, and I just couldn't stop him because I was that much into fear. So I finally snap out of it and start yelling at him.
Mm-hmm.
The wolf like kind of chills out because I was like, the wolf's used to being with someone that's dominant, and I'm scared. He's scared, so we don't know who's dominant. I don't have any training, so obviously I'm gonna get my ass bit. So whatever. That first night comes, the dude comes back and he's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Dude, you gave me no training whatsoever. You leave. The wolf knows you. He doesn't know who I am. Well, you're gonna have to make him trust you." I'm like, oh gosh, darn it. So I was like, okay. The second night, third night start to be more relaxed because he starts getting used to it, being away from the dude. So now I'm getting more relaxed because I start seeing that when I'm more afraid, the wolf starts snarling at me. So I force myself. I kind of create this little chant like it's all gonna be okay. It's all
Yeah.
gonna be okay. But it's not for the stupid wolf. It's for me. And while I'm petting this wolf, and he's like kind of snarling or cuddled up on my legs. So one morning, I finally fall asleep. Like I'm that stressed out that I fall asleep. I forget I have the wolf with me, and the wolf falls asleep on top of me. From that night on, that situation with the wolf like relaxed. But then the other dude started having trouble because he was gone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the wolf was like, "Who are you now?" So we started having trouble. The wolf started biting him, like not massive bites, but like nips. So the dude started having resentment towards me. And I was like, dude, I don't know what you want. You're leaving me with a wolf 24/7, taking care of something I didn't want. I'm already given mind that he's not paying me money. I literally have to go to a food bank to get food right now. That's how bad of a choice it was. I was only down there for 3 months, and then I moved back up to Paso. So we do work in downtown San Luis, cleaning up the grease from barbecues. You know, the McClintocks and all that, right?
Yeah.
So one night he starts taking the wolf out during quarantine, and I'm like, dude, we can get a massive ticket if we take this wolf out. He's like, I don't care. I can't have you bonding with this wolf anymore. He needs to see me. I was like, all right, whatever. So we start taking this wolf out, and the wolf starts freaking out because it's an enclosed truck. Starts getting angry because he can't go outside. So he starts chewing up the leather, starts chewing up the work truck, and the guy wants me to take care of the wolf. And I'm like, I have no training whatsoever. You don't trust me to do the work. This is what's happening. So just get over it. One night he just gets mad because his truck's destroyed. He's like, go walk the wolf. I'm like, all right. This is Friday after farmer's market.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the ultimate idea for a bad recipe. I go walk the wolf. I don't have any training on it. The wolf starts growling at certain homeless people, maybe because it got treated bad from them. And then I'm not paying attention. Wolf picks up a rib from McClintock's, like maybe a block away from McClintock's. I'm forgetting who I'm walking, who the animal I'm walking. I think it's just a husky. I go to pick up this rib. The wolf snaps on me, like he didn't bite me because he had the rib on his jaw, but it snaps. So I was like, okay, that's weird. I go and pick it up again. And then he drops it and tries to get my hand. And all the stress from like 2 years of my mom being tired, sick, all the stress from my family members wanting money from me, and like they'll call me up and say, I need your credit card, not please, not I'll pay you back later, I just need it. uh all this time that I had pent up, I just took it out on this wolf because he almost bit my hand. And if this wolf wanted to, he could have easily hurt me or killed me, but it didn't know better because it was never around another wolf. So I start slugging the wolf, like full on hard sucker punches to the wolf's skull. And this wolf is not even flinching. It's not even hurting the wolf. That's how strong this stupid wolf is. I'm beating it, yelling at it. I'm just showing aggression towards it because it showed aggression towards me. So I go nuts on this wolf. I beat it up, I kick it a couple times. That was probably a bad idea, but I was that stressed. And the wolf doesn't even get hurt. Just walks away from me. I had like a 6-foot leash. Walks away from me, sits down. He's like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were the boss." And he sits down. I walk him around, not hurt. A month later, not hurt. This wolf is strong. So if any animal lovers there saying that I beat up a wolf, this wolf could have easily killed me. Like it didn't feel anything. It just needed to know who the boss is, and I didn't know how to give him that knowledge that I was the boss. So I just dumped everything into this wolf. And after that, the wolf trusted me explicitly because now he knew the pecking order. I didn't know that at the time. And the wolves need structure. So now I was the boss because I beat the crap out of it. But technically, he could have killed me. To leave that to the animal lovers.
No.
And then once I come back, the wolf is following me around, this, that, the other, and now he starts even more attacking the other guy. So I finally just decided, you know what? I've had too much. The other guy starts to try to Tiger King me. He's starting to say that I'm gonna get like 6 or 7 more wolves, and I'm gonna get a sanctuary, and you're gonna be there. You're gonna take care of the wolves. I'm like, I ain't your woman, dude. I ain't gonna be there taking care of the wolves. This is before Tiger King came out, and I was like, I'm not taking care of these animals. That wasn't my wish. Yeah, but you're gonna help me take care of these animals. And then I was like, you know what, dude, I can't do this anymore. And I just grab my stuff and leave.
So when you saw, I'm assuming you saw the Tiger King on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw the Tiger King.
So you had a lot of flashbacks on how that guy was treating
I had a
you.
lot of flashbacks because it was like
That's insane.
he wanted me to literally stop working with him, and he's gonna have me take care of the wolves, living at a ranch. I'm like, oh, this sounds like a quick setup for a gay ranch situation, and I ain't playing that game. And he's like, oh, and then he stopped paying me altogether because he was starting to have problems with his booking person. So I was like, dude,
Oh, that sounds familiar.
yeah, to this day, he still owes me 2 months of pay. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab my stuff. I got a paycheck that was supposed to be paid 2 months ago, 2 months prior. So I waited 2 to 3 days, waited for the check to clear. Once I saw the check cleared, I went to work the next day. I did the job. I went home. I told him I had to take care of something. I cleaned everything out. I was living in San Luis, mobile home, Silver Lake or Silverwood or whatever, Silver. Just name drop some more. And I just picked up everything and left. And the next day, he started threatening my life, this, that, the other. And I was like, I never answered him ever again because he just turned out to be this. The more I hung out with him, the more I talked to him. And he's like meth head, uh, antisocial, quick to anger. He was more of a cantankerous person than me. Like anything that you said that was against his thought process, he would just explode. Just like imagine a Mexican dad, pretty much. He would explode, and I was like, dude.
Well,
I started seeing.
Well, explain a little bit about the Mexican dad. Like, what do you mean Mexican dad?
Like, let's say you ask him a question. He's like, he sees that as challenging authority.
Uh-huh.
So I would ask him a question, and he would just explode like, "Don't ever question me again." Like,
Okay.
if I don't ask questions, I don't learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would like lose his mind, come back, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I used to be on math." I'm like, "What the heck, dude?"
Well, and people and coming from the Mexican family, same here. It's like when we stay away from asking so many questions to our parents because they should be the all knowing. When we're kids, they should know all the answers. In our mind, so we ask them. But at some point, we get older, and all of a sudden, like they get tired of us asking questions, and instead of like redirecting that question to somebody else who might know it.
That was just because I said so.
Yeah, it's because I said so. It's funny because like I grew up like that too. I mean, it doesn't mean like they're bad people. I'm just saying like they just didn't have all the answers, and
Yeah,
it just piled up. But it's funny that you mentioned the Mexican dad situation because I'm sure.
that's what he came up with. Like,
Yeah.
and I also saw like a very, very scary. I saw a very I realized a very, what would it be? I did a realize
Hmm.
words. I realized that I was becoming that person
Yeah.
because I was getting very short tempered. I was always quick to anger. I was always this, that, the other. So being over in San Luis for 2 months really helped me realize that I was becoming him. I was becoming an angry person.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, dude, I'm done. I'm gonna take this loss, educate myself, and leave. And then I got a job back in my old company, which I name dropped earlier.
Hmm.
Uh, I got a job, and the moment I got a job, I got an offer from my cousin to move up to Washington.
Yeah.
So I've been in California since 1999. So I was like, all right, cool. I got a job in Washington. I might consider it. So it was 6 months time prior. So I milked that job. I worked. Obviously, I wasn't slacking off. And then one day, my cousin calls me like, dude, work's coming on faster than I thought. I need you. It was a Saturday. Like,
Hmm.
I need you Monday. And I started looking at the time differences for a drive, and it was like an 18-hour drive. I'm like, dang, I need to leave. I need to leave now, like
Yeah.
Saturday midday. I need to pack my stuff. Luckily, I didn't have a lot. I left a few things furniture wise to my family in California. Like, I need to pack my stuff, and so I packed everything. I already had a little bit of a savings, everything like that. Kind of felt jacked up that I was gonna leave the job again, a
Yeah.
second time. But I was like, you know what? If I stay in California, I've had like a all this time frame. I had like a $2,000 debt I could never pay off because I would pay $100 on the debt, and then I would get charged $80 on interest because I didn't pay the whole debt off. So I'm paying what, 80, 90, $20 of principal and like $80 of interest, or whatever the math comes out to. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna take off because I couldn't pay off that debt. It was just stupid amounts of debt, and I was only $2,000 in debt. I've heard of more people in debt for like 20, 35,000. So, but I was drowning. Everyone's in their own little world. So my cousin hits me up Saturday midday. You need to come now because you need to at least have one day to relax and de-stress from the drive. So I take off midday. Don't tell anyone. All my friends and family are in an assembly for the our truth. So I avoided that going away party with all that fakeness of, oh, I'm gonna miss you. Like, dude, I've been here 30 years. You haven't even talked to me since. I just didn't want to deal with that fakeness. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take off. I sent a few messages to my closest friends, which were a few, and I just took off midday, and I drove from midday all the way to Portland, Oregon, that same day. And I sold my little Honda Accord that I had, the blue one.
Yeah.
Got myself a diesel, and I drove. And then I had a mini meltdown on the way up here because of I felt like I was abandoning people. I felt the stress of not knowing what's gonna happen. I just had a little mini meltdown. I'm not afraid to say it because I just didn't know what it was. Just recently lost my mom, but I knew I needed to get out of California. So that drive, I think I drove close to 10 hours without realizing I needed to stop for anything. Obviously, I stopped for gas, but I didn't stop for food. I didn't stop for anything. I just drove because it was tail end of winter last year, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
19, yeah, tail end of winter. So there's still snow on the road, and I didn't know how to drive. So what I ended up doing was there's time frames where there were salt trucks. So I would follow them a quarter mile behind, and I would just ride on the salt because I didn't know how to drive on the snow.
So the salt trucks like drive periodically, like every day, or
It was snowing continuously. It wasn't very thick snow, but it was cold enough
yeah.
that it would cause some trouble. So I would come across the salt truck every hour or so,
Mm-hmm.
and I would ride behind the truck for more stability. Like if the truck's out right now, that means the roads for the next few miles are going to be jacked up.
Right.
So I'm going to ride the salt truck for a bit, and you get extra grip. You can feel it. So I get to Portland, and it's like around 4 in the afternoon, 4 in the morning, Sunday. 4 in the morning Sunday. So midday Saturday, and then 4 in the morning Sunday. I I love this truck now because at the time frame I drove that truck, I had it for a month. Turbo went out on it. I had to spend money to replace the turbo. The turbo blew into the engine, so I had to take apart the engine to figure out if the engine was salvable
Mm-hmm.
or salvageable or whatever the word is. So I checked everything, and I had this little nervousness that can the engine withhold. Uh, but since I never drove in a diesel, I was that much nervous too. So now that I drove all the way to Portland, Oregon, I got a hotel. And I was like, dude, I just need a hotel for like 2 or 3 hours. I just can't drive anymore because I'm uh, finally the exhaustion of the trip took a hold.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, you can crash, but we're not to charge you a whole day. I was like, what? I'm only going to sleep 4 hours. Like it doesn't matter. You're gonna still dirty the room. Like gosh darn it.
Yeah. Hotels are hotels.
And I was like, dude, and there was a place, Motel 6, that would charge me by the hour, but all my stuff is in the truck. My computer, everything, my diploma, my U.S. citizenship, my visa, everything. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to risk that. All my clothes, my rifle, my guns. And I was like, you know what, whatever, $200 for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And I was like, dude, I just can't go anymore. I just took the bullet. So I slept there in Portland, Oregon, and then I drove, I think 5 in the morning. No, four, 4, 5, 6. I think my time frames are off, but I got there around like 2 in the morning. Correction, and then I got up at around 6 or 7 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then I drove to Kennewick, which was 2 hours. It's 2 hours and a half. So I got here around 10 in the morning, something like that. Got here, $1,000 in my pocket. That's it. That's all I had. $1,000. I was stressed out. I got here, asked my cousin how much he was going to charge me for rent. He's like, "Don't trip. The first few months, I'm not going to charge you rent because I already know what you're going through. Just make sure that you can handle the jobs that are going to come up." They go, "You're looking kind of chubby, so I don't know if you can, but." Because I was like, I think I was 285 or 290 when I moved up to Washington. So the first job I ever did was concrete. We broke up a driveway, and I think my first pay for that week was $1,000. And I was like, all right, it's gonna hurt, but I think I can manage up here. And I've been up here in Washington since. Paid off all my debt that first year. I think I was like $2,000 in debt. I started earning a lot of money. Obviously, since I moved, I had to buy more stuff. I had to buy winter clothing, but I wouldn't consider going back to California ever again.
It's expensive. It's tough to live down here. Even now, I'm just like, I don't know if things are gonna change because with
I don't know how you guys are doing it down there with all this not working stuff.
Well, we got money saved up. We actually moved in with the in-laws for now.
Well, yeah, that's a good move.
Because they had they had two spare rooms, and we took one of them, and Sophia's in it with she's here with us, and it's just easier right now. I'd rather do that than to tell the renter, the whoever I'm renting from, like, hey, I can't pay rent just to save the money. And right now we can't be evicted, but I think that's coming up to where it's ending, where
It's yeah.
you still owe the months that you were there. So I don't know how people are going to come up with the extra money, or because nobody, honestly, there's a lot of people out there that they got that 600 on top of whatever unemployment they were getting. Nobody saved anything. Like I there's a few people that I know, and it sucks because like that was the whole point, is to save that money to pay for the important stuff. But nobody, the people
No
who
one
got,
saved it.
the people that I know of, a few of them did. I'm not gonna say that I don't know anybody who did, but there's definitely a lot of people who kind of just messed around with the
Well, yeah,
money,
there's
which
sad
sucks.
people that see that. Oh, it's just free money. Like they don't realize. Okay, they're gonna still charge you that money. They took it out of your social security.
Yeah,
That money's that money's from you.
yeah.
It's not the government just minting new money. The government is taking money from your social or your retirement and giving it to you. I don't know how it works. People don't get mad, whatever.
Well, from my understanding, is unemployment is from your social, but the extra money that they're printing out, like the 600 extra on top of it is printed money. It's like they're just printing money as they go, trying to stimulate the economy. But at the same time, if
No one
they're
wants to work
if
because they're getting.
well, there's that, and then on top of that, if money is being printed out, the value of the dollar just keeps going down and down and
Mm-hmm.
down, and
It's
then
like the after the World War.
yeah, and it's gonna be insane because the next whatever 5 to 10 years are gonna be expensive for us because we have to pay all that back.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like, yeah, no, it's been a crazy life. And then like backtracking, I had a girlfriend for my mom was sick. I had the beginning of my mom's stages of being sick. I got a girlfriend.
Hmm.
Not my brightest move because I was already stretched. I was already stretched about my mom being sick. So started getting this girlfriend. Started getting her coming over every weekend, wanting to hang out. And I was like, okay, I'm starting to like this situation. I want to talk to her about marriage. I was already talking about marriage, but I've known this sister. She was in the truth. I've known this person many years.
Hmm.
So I already knew what she wanted. Already knew her traits. Already knew her likes, her little quirks. So this time around, I was like, dude, it's gonna have to happen. So I start talking to her mom and her dad about marriage, and then she starts catching whiff of me talking to about the parents and asking the ring size.
Hmm.
And this is me dating her on and off for close to 7 years because she I never caught on that what I'm about to say, but she was on and off with me. She kept just getting attention and leaving, and it was driving me insane. So I was like, this girl stopped me from coming to Washington 2 years earlier than what I wanted to, because my cousin's been asking me to come to Washington for 4.5 years. But the first 2 years were my fears of not being able to make it up here.
Right.
And then the other 2 years were that girlfriend. She just wasted a lot of time and money. So when she finally realized that I was getting serious, she's like, oh, she calls me up. First, she stops talking to me for about a week, and we're at the point where it's every day we call, we text, or whatever, but we don't ever go a day without talking to each other.
Yeah.
So I already knew something was up. So I was like, okay, this is not right. I think this is the end of the situation. A week later, she calls me. She over the phone. I was like, over the phone tells me, "Oh, I don't want to marry you. I just wanted to date because I was bored." And I was like, "What the? All right, what did I tell you when I first asked you to be my girlfriend? Because this isn't the truth. Obviously, I'm not a saint, but this isn't the truth. So I told her, like, I'm looking to get married. I don't want to date you if you don't want to get married. And she told me yes. But and she gave me this line that, but I was bored, so I said yes. So now that you're getting serious, it's a no. I'm like, if I just did this to you, I would have been excommunicated from the truth. That's how bad it is for the men.
Yeah.
So I just lost it. And I was like, dude, what did I just do? Like, because I'm thinking about everything's going well. And it was superficially, it was going well. I didn't see any bad problems. But uh, over time, I started to realize she had this tendency of doing that, being bored and just getting boyfriends. So I was like, oh. And then she tells me this ultimate backhanded compliment was, I really like you, and I want to be friends. If you want to keep dating, we can still keep dating. I'm like, what's the point? I'm never
Well,
gonna have.
honestly, dude, I'm happy for you that she did that, because imagine if you guys did get married, and down the road she used that line, "Oh, I don't want to be married anymore. I only did it because I was bored. I only dated you because I was bored. I only married you because I was bored." I mean, you honestly, you dodged the bullet there.
Yeah. But the thing is, yeah, it's definitely a bullet dodge. But I was like, she told me, we can keep dating if you want. I'm like, what am I gonna achieve from this? I'm gonna get blue balls. I can't do anything.
You gotta get marriage blue balls.
No, it's not even that. She's like, she told me she doesn't want to get married, but if I wanted to keep dating, we can keep dating. I'm like, dude, I want to marry you so you can be my woman. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think you realize what this means. That means a lot of things. It means Barney Shorts situation that we can't go other than that name. And she's like, no, I don't want to get physical. Like, that's what I want. Like, maybe down the road I want children. So you saying you want to continue dating is just saying I pity you, so I'm gonna continue dating you. Like, no, forget you. So I come off of all that nonsense, and I come up to Washington, and it slowly start paying off debt. Starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Right now, I'm sitting on a savings, but it's kind of hard because I'm working on construction for hourly, so
Mm-hmm.
not a lot. But I have a job, like you're saying. Not a lot of people have a job.
Yeah, and you're in Washington. I'm assuming taxes are lower over there, not as
Dude,
high as here.
it's not even a joke. My truck is a diesel 2500 or 250 for the Ford owners. Um, and I was paying California about $800 in tags because it was a commercial truck. It was used for work, yada yada.
Sweet Jesus. Yeah.
So every 6 months, $800 or however the tags work, or yearly or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Up here, I'm paying 190 in tags,
That's
and
insane.
it's a commercial truck.
Yeah.
Up here, I looked into getting a license for general contracting or getting a. Right now, I'm currently thinking about electrical work. I'll get into that later. Um, in California, 2 years college, 2 years on the job training, 2 years, yada yada. I think it's a total of 6 years that you have to go, and you have to pay about like 6.5 grand to get your license. Up here, you go to the labor and industries. You say, I want a license. This is my name. Pay the fee. Pay whatever amount you're gonna, whatever city you're gonna be in. Let's say you're gonna work in SLO, AG, Arroyo Grande, Santa Maria. They're like, okay, SLO $5, Santa Maria 30, so and so 20, and you get permission to work in those cities. I was like, what the heck is going up here? How is it that much easier to get a license, a general contractor's license, than in California?
That's insane. Well, the huge difference. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how California got so off track, dude. Politicians and whatnot, probably. There's a lot of things that I'm not smart enough to know, or I'm not, informed enough. But at some point, I gotta start looking into all that stuff. Um, there's people moving to Washington, that I know that moved to Washington to Seattle. There's people moving to Texas. That's the next big thing. Uh, my aunt Carolina, she moved to Tennessee a couple years ago, or a year ago, whatever. And there's a lot of construction going on over there. So like you got all these other states, construction because people are moving out of California.
Yeah,
So
no joke.
they need more homes, they need more business buildings, all that stuff. So like all these other states are like benefiting from them gaining this population. But 15 years from now, they, you guys are going to be overcrowded too again. We're a growing population, and there's no stopping us, man. We're gonna crowd every single inch of this country.
Yeah, it's gonna get to a point where it's just a mass migration. Everyone,
Yeah.
after a while, everyone's gonna forget how horrible and atrocious that California was, and they all move back.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Yeah.
right now, when I was in California, I kept seeing a lot of Texas. So I have friends from Texas. They say Texas is cheaper if you have home from California somewhere else and buy there. But if you're there, it's like being in California. It's just you can't go anywhere.
Hmm.
So they move to better themselves. So they move to California. Then they get sick of California. They come up to Washington, Oregon. They get sick of Washington, Oregon. They go to Colorado, wherever. And it's just a massive circle that they do.
Yeah, it's the same thing as when it's winter, we want it to be summer. When it's summer, we want it to be winter.
Yeah.
It's
So I looked up. The thing is, California is set up in a way that where it doesn't want you to progress. It wants you to stay still and keep voting a certain way. Not to get too political. That's as much as I'm going to get there. But it's like California is set in a way where it's buying its votes. Up here, obviously, there's both parties, but you don't hear people being on welfare. You don't hear people being living. Because in California, I kept hearing people, we need to have more kids so we can get more help from the government. Like,
yeah.
what is that? You just having a kid because you want a paycheck? Like, that kid's going to suffer. So, up here, last year, I'm not going to say it's going to be for everyone. Because if you move, it's a hit it or miss it kind of situation. And it's not saying that's all cherries and sunshine. But I moved up here last year with debt. In the first 3 months, I had enough money to pay off my debt and live a comfortable life. And then after, when summer officially ended, I think I had 10 grand in the bank. I've never had 10 grand in the bank, ever.
Mm-hmm.
The most I've had was $800 and counting until the next paycheck.
Well, when you said, I mean, obviously, again, we're going back to California, it'd be too expensive. But when you said like, yeah, what, $2,000 in debt? I know people who
Yeah.
are at 10, 15, 20,000, man. Like, you had it good compared to them. But that's because
Yeah.
like you were still kind of on the moderate side. Like you weren't really going out partying and stuff like that. So that's why you weren't more in debt. You were more in debt because you let family members take a little bit of advantage of you, but then he finally made that smart move and moved to Washington, and you
Yeah,
got
because that's true, because I was complaining. You don't realize how much you single yourself out, like woe is me kind of situation. Your situation is harder than everyone else, because you kind of put blinders on, like horse blinders on. I was drowning in $2,000 in debt.
mm-hmm.
And then one of my friends, he kept hearing me complain about $2,000. Like, I don't know what you're complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm $45,000 in personal debt and about $250,000 on a house debt. So I don't know what you're complaining about. Like, if you want, I'll trade you debt. So I'm like, okay. Apparently, I'm not that bad off.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things, like we constantly forget that things can be worse, man. We can't tomorrow we might not wake up for some crazy reason. And
Yeah. So
I know that's a little bit more extreme, but that's the reality. Is like tomorrow we might not have food on the table because of how the way the economy is working right now. Because at some point, all the food is cut off. That's why people were starting to buy all the freaking rice and pasta at the grocery stores. I'm like, seriously, guys,
yeah,
you guys won't
it,
won't even cook this. It's just gonna stay in the pantry. Come on.
there is a when things started to get heated up. We were already. I was already saving up food. I would go to the store and buy packs of ramen, packs of. I would buy canned soup. I think right now I have like 30 to 40 canned soups, 20 spams, like 2 or 3 cases of noodles.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't used none of them. Like every now and then I'll remember I have canned food and I'll eat one just for the heck of it. But it's a good safeguard. But compared to other people that bought stupid amounts of overbuying,
Mm-hmm.
it got to the point where Costco was standing next to the water and having you say how many family members you have. Okay, you're gonna get one 32 pack of water. That's all you get.
Isn't that crazy? Like it took, you know, some authority for us not to overbuy, like or overstock or whatever. Like because we, the people, I'm putting myself in the category because we're all humans, but like we as people like didn't know the full extent of all this and how much we needed. Like we just take things for granted. Oh, there's toilet, ma, throw me the toilet paper, I'm out, Now it's like, ma, I need shit. How much toilet paper do we have left? It's like a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why, when we go crazy and authority figures step in, we're like children. We like fight it back. No, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. But like, dude, we put it on ourselves.
Yeah, the thing is like going back to you don't know how real words. You don't know how much of a child the grown-ups are until a pandemic.
Dude, that's the one thing I'm realizing more and more every day when I'm growing up. People don't have anything figured out.
Yeah.
And they're like 50, 55.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have shit together yet. And that's because like people were like, I don't know, as kids we're told like, grow up, da da da, all these little things. But then you grow up and you're like, wait, you don't have this shit figured out? How much are you in debt? Like what? You mean buying a house wasn't a good decision back when you were in your 30s? What? And like all these things happen. They're just like, wow. That's why when somebody tells me you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, I'm like, cool, thanks. It goes
Yeah,
one in one ear and out the other. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do what's best for me and my family.
that's my problem. Because when someone tells me you should do this, you should do that, my problem was like, hey, aren't you in crippling debt? Aren't you in this? Aren't you
Yeah,
in that? I would attack someone because that's where I was at. My mindset.
yeah.
And I had a situation in the Kingdom Hall that was bad because I had a brother-in-law that was trying to get me denamed from being like a pastor's helper,
Hmm.
because obviously you know what kind of truth I'm in. Um, and it was a lot of stress too. So I started getting very aggressive too. Elders would come up to me, like, "Hey, I need you to do this." Like, I need you to figure it out yourself because I'm tired of fixing things for you. And they're like, "Oh, damn," because it got to the point where I was running a lot of things in the background, and the elders were just chilling, and I was doing a lot of things for them. And I finally just went. I had a talk with the CEO, the guy that's a little bit higher up,
Yeah,
and he's like, you know what, dude, it's not your responsibility. You're taking it as a responsibility. It was a responsibility that it was never yours, but you took it upon yourself because they weren't they weren't teaching you anything. So you kind of made it your own problem. And I was like,
yeah.
damn.
We there's certain things we put ourselves into, and then we try to find ways out or reasons why. Like, yeah, no, they put this on me. Like, the reality is, we did it to ourselves. A lot of the
Yeah,
things that we can fix, we did to ourselves, and a lot of those times it just takes we just have to, okay, let's put things in perspective, and then go from there instead of just I have to do this. They want me to do this. Don't assume those things.
yeah, that was my mindset. Is like, the thing is, I didn't realize I was doing that until I talked to them, and then the problem was they weren't using me. They weren't utilizing me in the meetings.
Hmm.
So I felt left out. So I finally had that realization, if that's even a word. And I just went, okay, you guys figure it out. And they would call me at 2 a.m. I need you to do this. I'm like, not my responsibility. And hang up, and they start getting even more angry, more angry, more angry, and got to the point where I was like, you look, dude, I'm gonna go talk to this person, the CEO. I'm gonna tell him everything I know that you made me do, and things are gonna change. oh no, you don't call him. Everything's gonna change. I'm like, no, this is too late. So I call up the brother, tell him everything I did. I'm like, look, this is my fault too because I accepted these things, and these things I shouldn't have seen. I saw paperwork I shouldn't have seen. Obviously, it's not massive Watergate kind of information, but as a pastor's helper, you shouldn't have seen them.
Yeah.
So the elder comes and he's like, oh, okay, what's going on? And I was like, okay, this is happening, and I haven't been cordially greeted when I'm coming to the meetings for close to 3 years. And then the guy, he's like, oh, you've been doing what now? And he's like, look, I understand it's my fault too because I accepted it. I accept full responsibility. He's like, no, this is going to end today. You're not in trouble, but what? And I've never seen him physically, because this guy is really happy-go-lucky, never shows that anything gets to him. So the next day in meeting, Sunday, he stands next to me. He's like, everything's taken care of. You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble because you did realize that you messed up, but talking to other people and other members of the church, yeah, it was not your fault. And so he stood next to me. I was like, okay, well, I hope the brothers say hi to me because they haven't said hi to me in a while. I was like, oh no, that's one of their conditions. And all 6 of them had to come up to me and say hello. So all churches are not perfect, but the thing is, if you dig yourself in a hole, no matter what church you're in, it's going to be your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you? So you moved up to Washington. You got some money saved up. Corona hit. I'm assuming that put back some hours, so you're not working, a lot and stuff like that. Are you still living comfortably, or are you worried again, or are you still like?
Well, I have money saved up. I have. Let's say, I don't know if my family members hear you. Do they hear you?
If they wanted to, yeah, they could. So it's up to you what you want to say.
I shouldn't disclose how much I have then. I have a good amount. They don't have my number though.
Well, according to you, a year ago you had 10,000 in your bank. So let's do them.
Let's just say I have half of that.
Okay.
So that's a number. That's still a physical number, but I'm chilling with a half of the savings. I'm not spending it. I'm kind of having to dip into $100 every other month, but I pay it back because I'm getting paid weekly, and the thing is, I'm getting paid hourly. It's $15, but over here, it's beautiful. It's sunny, everything. But since we work outside, once 1 o'clock rolls around, we can't work anymore because it's like 97 degrees and it's humid as heck. So the checks start to dwindle because we're not working the hours.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried too much because I have the savings. Luckily, I'm alone. Even though I don't want to be alone, I'm still alone. And I'm probably going to end up getting singled out to be single for the rest of my life. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't want to be single, but every time I go up to a sister in the truth, I don't get chosen. Maybe I'm too much of a cantankerous man, or maybe I'm just too much of a man and they want a child. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too ugly.
Here's the thing that I personally went through, and that is when you start focusing on yourself and better yourself, other people notice and they start gravitating towards you. Just don't, just keep in mind, as long as your priorities are your priorities, everything else is a plus. So if you start dating, date 100%, give it 100%. And if it doesn't work out, give yourself that room to say it just wasn't meant to be and move on.
Yeah, and that was my downside, is I always wanted an answer. I always wanted a reason why it didn't work out. Now I came up here with the mindset is whatever, I'm working on myself. I need to buy a house. I need to stabilize myself, and whatever comes.
Exactly, man. And that's a good mindset to have, and that's a good, set yourself first. You got years, man. What are you, like 33?
Yeah, I just turned 32, 33 this July.
Yeah, it's wait. So you just had your birthday,
Yeah, July 9.
July 9th.
Uh,
Dang, dude.
so,
But
but the thing is, the mindset in California was get married by 20, get married by 20. So it
oh
really
yeah,
messes you.
yeah, it
But
does.
now,
Because
mhm.
like in the past, like everybody had this idea of marriage. Everybody had this idea you have to own a house at this point, blah blah. And those people that own the house, apparently, they're still paying it off for the next
Yeah,
25,
they're crippling
25.
debt.
Yeah, and they say, "Oh, it's good debt." I'm like, nah, dude. To me, debt is debt. I'm not. In my opinion, I'm gonna try to buy the house up front. Like, I mean, obviously, you'll have the property taxes after that. You still have to pay monthly
Mhm.
stuff like that. But like for me, it's like my goal when I buy a house is to pay it all. And in California, that might take me a while. So,
The
I'm.
thing is, I'm not gonna try to convince you to come up here,
Oh no, I'm
but
not going up there.
come and visit me,
Oh, for sure.
and you'll make a decision. Um, there's houses up here with land for 220, 230,
Well, yeah.
like an acre of land, dude.
Believe
And you
me,
don't hear California.
in Tennessee, same situation. In Texas, same situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Except I visited Tennessee and I didn't like the humidity, so I'm like, nah. But yeah,
Up,
if nothing changes in California, we'll eventually make that decision, But
just come and visit. Like
oh no,
maybe.
we'll definitely visit. We're just waiting on a vaccine to do anything.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I feel
So
you.
yeah,
Because up here, I started getting. Because like you said, when you touched base, like I started getting better attitude. I started clowning like I
yeah.
used to. Remember when we first met? Your cousin Alex was dating on that girl that
Hmm.
completely. They'll figure out who it is, but completely
Yeah,
went bad. And we met because we were just clowning and clowning and clowning, and I just started going back to being myself.
yeah,
And people started like talking to me because the first month I was here, no one from the truth was talking to me because I was a serious person. I was starting to unwind and all that stuff, and then I started. It's reminding me certain stories. It's funny. I started attracting attention from the older community from our church. This lady from she's like 45, 50. So anything I would say in church, she would come up behind me and comment. Not obviously walk behind me, but like right after the comment. You know how the meeting works.
yeah.
Obviously, your listeners don't, but um, she would say like so and so said yada yada, like so and so said yada yada. I'm like, dude, get my name out of your mouth, because she was older and like I'm 32 at this point of time. And she's like, "Oh no, no." She started talking to my uncle, like the old way that they would go to the uncle and like want
Yeah.
to make a visit kind of situation. Like, dude, we're not in the freaking 40s anymore.
Dude, I know when you're saying that there's a movie that pops in my head, Bended Like Beckham. Remember that movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Where like they see the daughter hugging the other girl, like Keira Knightley's character, and
Hmm.
because she had short hair and she was wearing like boyish stuff, she thought she was dating or hugging another guy, not the girl.
Hmm.
And they go to the parents' house and they're like sitting down. It's like, we just wanted you to know this and this and this, and like that's the only reason for the visit. And that's when you're telling me these things, like, man, that kind of reminds me of like, that movie is where the only time to visit is, either gossip or to
Yep.
inform or something like that.
So it gets better though. So this is recently divorced. So she's looking for someone,
Hmm.
and she's forward. She came up to my aunt, my uncle, and like we need to make a barbecue. We need to hang out.
Oh, she going out shopping, huh?
Yeah, she's going window shopping, and she likes what she sees. And at this time frame, I have another sister I'm hitting up that I just recently just gave up on because I'll get into that story in a second. But my attention was somewhere else. She was following me around like crazy. I didn't realize how bad it was. I would go to service. Brothers would start name dropping her, like, "Hey, so and so wants to talk to you." I'm like, brother, I do have gray hair. I act like the old man, but I'm 32. They're like, "Oh wow, oh wow," and they just get the "oh wow," and they can't stop "oh wowing." I go, "How old do I look?" And like, "Well, you dress and you act very old." I'm like, "Oh damn, I need to change up my game," because I just dressed because it felt comfortable. I don't do this go waste $1,000 on a Gucci belt because it's the new thing. So this chick comes up to me. I start reading. They start giving me parts, and I start reading in church. I start reading the Atalaya. I don't know if you remember that, right? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. And we get disconnected? Oh, so you can speak. You can't. Oh, wow. So this lady started to talk me up, and I was reading the Watchtower. So she comes up after meeting, and she's like, "Oh, I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you better. I want to start getting to know you better, so maybe we can go on a date." Okay, yeah, let's finish this off. We can go on a date, and I was like, "What? Like, I don't think you realize I'm younger than this." And she's like, How old are you, anyways?" I'm like, "I'm 33." And she's like, and she gets beat red and leaves the hall. But yeah, that's another situation. But yeah, that's the end of that. And we can continue on another day because it's a lot more stories. All right, yeah. Keep going on your thing, man. Congratulations on your baby again, and then we'll continue another day. Peace out, man. I'm gonna leave recording. Hopefully that stops.
And that was another Miguel's Moment podcast. Hope you guys had a fun time listening, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the day.